Hi everyone, great to be with you. So today I'm going to share something that I love to do. It's a hobby that I really enjoy, and it is jigsaw puzzles. See, I've got one on the wall behind me. So when you first get a jigsaw puzzle, open the box and it'll come in a bag, something like this. It's a bit scary actually when you first get it, but you'll definitely get used to it. They are a lot of fun. So what I usually do is grab my scissors. I will cut open the bag like so. Oops. Sometimes they send you paraphernalia inside, and then I will tip it into the box like so. Now you'll find some puzzles, depending on their quality and how they're made, some are a nicer feel, some feel not so good, and it's a bit hard to tell before you purchase it, because unless you get to touch it, you have no idea. So it's a little bit of potluck when you get it. You hope that it's a nice puzzle or not, especially if you buy them online and if they're a brand that you don't know and you not recognized or sort of not famous, and you don't know what, you just don't know what to expect. So generally it will look like this. I'll try and give you a close-up. So it's all a little bit scary at first, but don't worry, it's a lot of fun. Okay, so once you've emptied all your pieces into a tray or a box, or I always use the box it comes in, then the first thing I do is I search through all the puzzles and I select all the pieces with the straight edge. So it's quite time consuming. Sometimes you might be lucky and strike them already together like this. It's like, woohoo, win. So it's obviously, they're quite easy to find, the ones that are a definite straight edge. See, this one's actually a corner. That's so good. So with this particular puzzle, I'll just quickly show you. It is a 1,000 piece puzzle. Okay, and that's the picture. I like to try and do puzzles. It's just the way I like. My idea is of places where I've been. So this is in Cinque Terre in Italy, which is on the Mediterranean, which is a beautiful place. It was gorgeous. So it was called, as you can see here, Manarola. So I always try to find puzzles of places where I've been. So then I keep them. Once I put the puzzle together, I don't break it up because I think, oh no, that destroys my heart. So I just like to keep them as if they're like a photo and a memory of where I've been. So you've got to spend a lot of time going through all the pieces looking for the straight edges, right? So if you want to, at the same time, I will always keep the boxes of previous puzzles that I've done. So you see, here's a puzzle I've done, it's empty. And as I go through my pieces, I will sort them if I want to. Sometimes I just like to go and find all the straight edges. And it's fairly easy. It's just not time consuming. You pass your time doing it. I find it relaxing. I find it takes my mind away from things you might be thinking about or troubling you, worrying you, and I get involved and really in the puzzle. So when I'm sorting, if I want, I'll take out the ones that are not straight, and you literally have to check every piece one by one, see? And you find all the straight edges. So for me, that's fun. I enjoy it, because it's something that I do. I put it together myself. Usually I'll ask King to help me when I'm doing the puzzle too. And I find it relaxing. It's really good. So I'll keep going with this and I'll come back shortly. So once you've sorted your pieces and you've taken out all the pieces that have got the straight edge, like so, then what I do is I group them into their colors. As you can see, I've put basically the bluish colors, the mauve colors, then the actual nature colors over here. So what you do is check what your picture puzzle is, and you get an idea of where obviously my blues are going to be the base, and then the light blues and the whites come up here, and then it transitions into the yellow and then the mauves of the sky and across there, and then the nature ones will come down this edge. So obviously start off with your base or your sides. It doesn't really matter because you'll just put your border together. It won't take you very long. As you can see, I've done my border and I've started to fill in the middle. Obviously I've started to separate my colors, so I've actually put all my blue pieces down on the mat. I like to use a jigsaw puzzle mat. If you haven't got one, it doesn't matter, you can just do it straight on your table. It just makes it easy. If I happen to need to move the jigsaw for whatever reason, I can roll it up and it stays quite intact. So I've also separated my pieces. I've got my colourful pieces here, and I've got my green and brown sort of colours there, and this is my sky pieces, which I will be doing next. So it's much easier if you lay them all out like this. It's much easier to find and put into place. Okay, so we're getting to the exciting part because we're getting near the end. So as you can see, I've done most of the border, the bottom, and all the beautiful, colourful, the sea, the rocks and everything. And I've done the sky, as you can see. And now I've only got these pieces left to go. And I've got them sort of in colour tones, so it's easier to try and fit them into place. So I'll put a few pieces in so you can have a look. So you can go with this one, see. Sometimes you can look at a piece and think, oh, where does it go? It doesn't fit, it looks wrong. So here we are at the end. It's so exciting when you get to this point. So I'll just put the last few pieces in. And done. So it's so satisfying. So when you get to this point, what I do now is I use a rolling pin and I just make sure all the pieces are flat. Okay, and then you have to prepare to glue it together. So this next bit is a bit tricky and it takes time and it takes patience. So I use this, which is just baking paper. I always use new baking paper because it's nice and flat. Because what you got to do now is I've got to slowly edge the paper under the puzzle. Now it gets a bit tricky and it gets a bit tedious because sometimes the puzzle pieces pop out, and then you just got to just put them back in as you go. So it can be slow, sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's not. It just depends on the puzzle. So sometimes the puzzle is a bit, it's a bit rough on the other side, so the paper can get caught. So you just got to patiently work the paper through. So, and normally it takes about, depending on how big your puzzle is, usually I'll put about 3 sheets underneath it. So just feel your way as you put the paper under it and keep the pieces flat, because eventually you've got to remove, I got to remove my mat from underneath the puzzle. So I'll keep doing this and I'll show you the finish. Now it will take a little bit of time. Okay, so I've got 2 sheets in and I'm just going to put the last one under. So it gets a bit easier once the first 2 are down. Then just slowly, okay, so then it's fully underneath the puzzle. So you've got all the edges exposed, and then what I have to do is take the mat out just like so. That's it. And then you're getting ready. Now, so what I do is flatten all the pieces again. So just use a rolling pin, because that seems to work very well. And it just puts it all into place. Makes it nice and easy. The messy part, the glue. So what you need is, I use this PVA, it doesn't have to be this brand, any PVA glue. It is white, but it dries clear. So once it's dried, you won't even know the glue's there. And the best thing I find to apply it is just an old credit card, membership card, something that you don't use anymore. And let's go. So what you do is just pour some glue on. Then, using the edge of the card, literally just scrape it along. And as you're doing that, you can actually see the glue filling in between the pieces. And then if you run out, just add more glue if you think you need more glue. And then once you finish and then it dries, takes a couple of hours to dry. It depends on the weather. And then you actually do it. I like to do it on the other side as well, on the reverse side. So this is what it's like after you've put the glue on it. So I just wanted to show you a close-up so you can see how the glue has gone in between all the jigsaw pieces, you see. The glue, see all the white, looks like it's got a white sheen over it. But don't worry, because it will be clear once it's dried. So yeah, so when you get sections that are very colourful, lots of colours, just double check that you've got your piece, the glue's gone through all the middle of the pieces so you don't miss anything. So, but it's quite good. So here it is, all glued on the front side. See, now it's all nice and dry. You can handle it, you can move it, you can shift it. So what I'm going to do now, looks pretty, hey, is glue the back. So you'll find that when you put the glue on, it dries and you'll get some dry edges on it, but they peel off easily. But what I usually do is after I've done the glue on the back and it's dried, then I usually will use a sharp knife or a craft knife or a blade and just trim it off. It comes off very easily. So just to tidy it all up. So what we do is we put glue on it again. That's not absolutely necessary, I don't think, if you don't want to do both sides, but I just like to do both sides. So sometimes people will take their puzzles to a picture framer, and the picture framer won't necessarily use glue. They have a special tape which they put only on the back side of the puzzle, so they actually don't touch the front, which I think is a good idea. I'm not sure what the name of the tape is, but I guess you should be able to get it from craft shops, I suspect. So just like the front, just spread the glue around all over. You can see it again. You can see that because the back of the puzzle piece is porous in this particular puzzle, you can see that it absorbs into the jigsaw puzzle pieces. See? So then once this is all on and then it's dried, won't take very long because it absorbs. So, but I generally like to leave mine overnight just to be on the safe side, to dry. So once it's all dry, then I will mount it onto something that I can put on the wall. So there's lots of different options. You can use plywood, You can use poster board, you can use really thick cardboard. Just depends what your preference is. You'll see like this one. I've actually put this one on plyboard, which is sort of really thin wood, which I probably got from Bunnings or somewhere. And then I just put it on the wall with the 3M, you know, Velcro style tape, and so it can peel off and stay on, and yeah, and it's quite simple, and you don't damage your wall. So here we are with the back all dried. So, and it's all nicely done. Now you might find that you'll get bits like this of dried glue. So what I do is, if you have a Stanley knife or something sharp, you can just go through and clean up the edges. So, but I won't do that right now. So once it's like this, then we want to, what I like to do is mount it. So, but this one, because it's quite big, I actually don't have a board big enough. So what I have got is a piece of, I think you call it poster board. Yeah, just a foam board. See this? It's very light. And you can buy them in craft shops and things like that. So because this one, as you can see, is too small, so it's not used, I can't use it for this particular jigsaw puzzle. So, as they say on television, here's one I prepared earlier. So this is one of my jigsaws that I have had already finished, but I haven't mounted it. So this one will fit on this board. So I'll just have to trim it once I've stuck it on. So this, normally I would glue things on, but now I've decided I'm starting to use double-sided tape, which I find works really nicely. So this is one which I did earlier, you see, and there's no gap, and it just sticks on really well, and it's very lightweight, and so it makes it easy to pop on the wall. So what I used was this, which is double-sided tape, looks like so. The packet I bought it in just looks like this, but I think it's best if you use a double-sided tape that is the thin one. You can get tape that's a bit spongy, but I think the flat one is the best option for this purpose. So what I'll do, what I've done is I put the tape all the way around, a strip on each edge, and then I put it through the center, so to adhere to the board. Okay, so now I've put the double-sided tape on the back of the jigsaw puzzle. You probably noticed this particular puzzle is a bit unusual because it's got sections of alphabet on the reverse of the pieces. It was a real surprise when I got this puzzle, very unusual. Never seen it like that before, but it was interesting. So once you've put your tape over all the puzzle, then just remove the tops of the tape. Okay, so that's all off. Now, turn over the puzzle. Try and line up where you want to place it on your board. So I'm going to try and get it on the edge, so then I only need to cut 2 edges rather than 3 or 4 edges. So, and push it down. Now the tape will stick quite instantly. And voila, it's on, see? Doesn't fall off, and it's stuck. So then we just trim the edges, usually with a sharp knife. I probably need a bigger knife than this. Use my Stanley knife and trim the edges. Then after I've trimmed the edges, then you can adhere little hooks. As I said, I use the 3M hooks. They just stick on, they're easy, they won't damage your walls. So I'll trim the edge and then show you what I do next afterwards. So because it's foam, this particular foam you can just snap like that. You see, I've done the other edge already. And then you can turn it over and then run the knife, whoops, all the way along the edge. And that's it. See, it's done. And it's not heavy and easy to manage. So some people might prefer to take their puzzle to a picture framer and have it framed with a nice frame or something like that. So, or maybe buy your own frame and do it yourself. But I prefer to have no frame. So the next step, we'll get Ken to help me because he's better at hanging things than me.
So the puzzle is finished. We're mounting the puzzle. And we're going to put it on this wall. Okay, and need to line it up with this puzzle. So we line up the bottom edge, which is 860. We should make a mark, 860 at the bottom here. And the width of this is 520. The width of this wall is 920. So we have 200 from each side. We got these command strips.
This here?
These command strips, and we have the smallest one, which we will tear them in apart, and we will put them together first. As this is lightweight, we don't need to let it set on the wall.
So you're peeling off?
We're peeling off the sticky side on one side.
And place it there.
Placing it facing down.
So there's one in each corner.
One in each corner.
Push them down tight.
Normally they ask you to sit it on the wall and let it settle for like at least half an hour. But
so now you're pulling off the other
end. It goes on the wall. Yep.
So now they're sticky.
Yes. Here comes the tricky part. And we've got the markers here, which is a 200. Get a marker, and then we will just make sure that
it's like a little spirit level.
Little spirit level. Voila.
And that's it. Wow. All done. There we go. All done. All on the wall. It's nicely hung. It's not difficult. It's lightweight. It's not going to fall off because it's not heavy. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed my little demonstration on what I've been doing most of isolation time. Lots and lots of jigsaw puzzles. So I hope it's an interest, and if maybe give it a try, you might enjoy it too. Thanks for watching.